Before we begin the survey, we're going to want to collect materials that we'll need to do so. So here I have a hard board that will allow me to draw on the move outside, 2 colors of pencil. I enjoy drawing the perimeter of a house in one color and then dimensioning with another. It helps me from getting distracted between what types of line work mean which things. I have a list of items that I need to collect from my survey. Some people like to draw surveys to scale. I at least like to get an outside perimeter dimension and then to sketch the perimeter of a home onto the paper before I start drawing too many details. I have a 25-foot tape for getting ceiling dimensions or floor to floor, and then outside I have a nice long tape that will allow me to stretch for longer distances. So let's get started by looking at the perimeter. I've walked the perimeter of this home and it's relatively square. So before I start to sketch it out on my page, I'm going to get a couple overall dimensions so that I understand the proportions of that square. So I'm going to start here and use my long tape. It's nice if you have someone to help you. Otherwise, the nice long tape have a clamp on them. And I'm going to try to keep my string at the same height so that the sag doesn't give me the wrong dimension. I'm going to run the length. It helps that when I'm doing these preliminary dimensions, if I can note where windows are, it will help me when I do my interior dimensions. Make sure that I'm aligning everything exactly. So I'm going to note opening at 5'5", and at 7 feet 9, and I'll mark that on my page. Continuing down for the entire home. And again, I did the overall 28'6" on one side and took measurements of openings along both basement level 1 and level 2. It's a nice straight shot on the perimeter to understand where those windows are in relationship to one another. And with my strung along dimensions, I can simply go to every opening and say that 5'5" mark, jamb side 1, opposite jamb 7'9", and I noted that as level 1. So this house is multi-story, but I'm not worried about going around the entire level 1 or level 2 at this point. The hole and the volume is the same from basement to level 2, so just getting a perimeter and noting openings where I go. So window is 15'4" and 19 feet opening. That is opening, jamb, inside jamb to inside jamb, not the casement. Pulling the tape tight, I get 24 feet 4 inches. So now that I have 2 dimensions of the perimeter, I have a good idea of how to fill in the part of the house that is outside of the volume of the square. It's not to scale, but proportionately not far from accurate. Again, using the straightest line, I have a window at 5'4", 8'11", and an overall of 13'9". To get the shorter dimension, I'm going to use this tape. Hold it along the edge, 4'1". You'll notice that I'm standing on a porch, and in order to get the dimension of the porch, let's use the reference of the main house wall. So I'm going to align my small tape to the edge of the porch. Secure it, and read the dimension as it hits the wall. 8 feet. I also want to get a ceiling height of the porch. This will help me understand the roof condition later. I'm going to secure my tape in the corner. 8'4.5". One of the most important things about the boundary survey is closing off the volume. If we don't close off the volume and we've made a mistake or we can't read our writing once back at the Revit desk, it makes closing the entire construction very difficult. So close the volume. When I walked the perimeter of this home, the house had a consistent exterior cladding of wood. So I'm going to double check, but I'm going to assume that all of the exterior walls are the same thickness. So I can pay attention after taking this first dimension. So overall jamb is 6 3/4, and then I'm going to subtract 1/2 inch, 6 1/4, and another 1/2 inch on the outside, making 5 3/4. Let's see if that's consistent. I'm looking for the consistent 5 3/4 by measuring the jamb of the front door now. So I have 7 minus 1 1/2. That's 5 1/2. Minus another 1/2. So this wall is 1/2 inch different. I noted in the plan where I took wall thicknesses. At the back door and at the front door, using a symbol that we will learn in Revit, the wall tag symbol. And then what I've done as a guide on the bottom of the page is to have drawn that, notating a wall, and then drawn the types of walls that I dimensioned. I know it's plaster and lath on the interior, a stud wall with a wood exterior. Now I'm inside the house, and I've walked around and have sketched a layout of the floor plan on level 1. I've located door openings, but I don't have any dimensions yet. Welcome to interior dimensioning. Because this house isn't much larger than 25 feet, I can stretch my long tape through a couple rooms and note the location of the walls. So here I've gone from the front door all the way into the kitchen. Make sure to measure any offsets, 2 feet. When measuring in a kitchen, get the measurement above the countertop for the overall. It always helps to have more than one person. I've opened the door to the basement, and I want you to be aware of one thing. The walls that we measured on the perimeter are the wood plaster walls. The basement is going to have a smaller interior dimension than what we measured on the perimeter because of the thickness of the 8-inch block. See the difference of the planes. Locating doors on both the exterior perimeter survey as well as the interior dimensions part of the survey will help us to be assured that the interior walls are located in the correct position. Same reference point. 2'7". Interior walls are probably going to be thinner than our exterior walls, so make sure you note those on your survey as well. After I've done the overall dimensions through as many open doorways to get an inside perimeter dimension as best I can, I'm going to go room by room, locating the windows and door openings to the inside and outside, and go wall by wall in each room, notating any indents, poor chimneys, or utility chases, or bookshelves that might throw off my overall room dimension. So I have 1'6.5". The other thing I'll do while I'm in the room is to get a ceiling dimension. At 9.5, and then try to get
while I have my measuring tape up, the height of the window. 7'7". And the sill.
Notice that for every window, I'm locating the H as in the head height and S as in the sill height. And then I'm also making sure that my dimension lines are ticking the edge of the dimension from the exact location that I am taking the dimension from. In this case, it would be the inside face of my wall thickness. My plans now have quite a few red dimensions. I'm going to head to the stair, as I've done every interior room on floor level 1. The stair will tell me how high the floor-to-floor dimension is, and then also give me an idea of floor thickness for level 2. I'm going to climb the stair to determine the width of the stair. Feet 1.5. And then I will walk all the way to the top and feed the measure tape down the wall to determine the height of floor to floor. Now let's review. We've taken the perimeter dimension, we understand wall thicknesses, taken our interior dimensions. I've only asked you to do floor 1. If you have a multi-story house, I'll help you adjust the roof if the walls on the second floor do not match the first. We took floor-to-floor dimensions at the stairway, and then we were to sketch our home from one view and take photographs. That is so I can help you draft in the case that you need assistance. So I have a quick sketch of the rear and a quick sketch of the front. And we're ready to put this into Revit. So this is lecture 12. We're reviewing the home survey, and now we're going to input that information